The Monday night coverage. The Monday night coverage. The Monday night coverage. The Monday night coverage. Funtime show. The Monday night coverage. Funtime show.
Hello, NFL. This is Not Boss Man, and welcome to the Monday night coverage Funtime show. It's week 14, and there are still plenty of teams out there that are still fighting for a playoff berth. These two teams this week aren't any of them, as one team is busy dumpster diving, while the other is punching their get into the playoffs free card, as the 3-9 Bungles take on the 7-5 Super Bowl champs, Chicago Bears. Now, as of late, we would go to our new feature, Does the Other Team Even Have a Chance? Score. But with these Chicago Bears, I think anyone's got a chance. So let's go now to the NFL Impact Score. This week's matchup comes in at a 6. That's right, a 6. Why? Well, on one hand, you have the most of the league is curious if Bisbee can actually hang on to a playoff berth playing as inconsistently as they have. And on the other hand, you have all the bottom feeder teams hoping for a Bengal win to keep them out of the 1.1 chase. Here now is a Monday Night Coverage Funtime Show exclusive. The debut of my new single, Your Season Is Gone, which speaks on those teams that are on the outside looking in. Enjoy.
While you stars in the NFL don't know how to win a game. It's 2029, and this is what I call the loser roll call. Bengals season is gone. We got GM Jacksonville season is gone. We got score. Season is gone. We got J6 and Diego. Your season is gone. Why don't you watch Chris? Why don't you watch Chris? Why don't you watch Chris? Your season gone, Chris. Yeah. Minnesota Vikings with Frederick. The NFL. R.I.P. Hammer. Yeah, cause the losers in the league can win a game. They're just going for the 1.1, and that is a mighty shame. We got you, GM of the Jacksonville. Why? Fred of the G-Man. He says LOL, but he be crying. We can't forget the Rams with their leader, Buff, washing cars. I smell a liter of coke in your nose because your team just sucks, and everyone knows that you are losers, and you are losers, and everybody at the bottom is a loser. Yeah, that's why 2029 now, boss man, keep it up with the show. Let's reach out to all y'all. Peace. Yeah, that's what I call a headbanger right there. We now welcome to the show the GM of the Cincinnati Bengals, Mel. How you doing, Mel?
Hey there, boss man. I couldn't be any better. Thanks for having me, sir.
By the way, you wouldn't happen to have a Twitter account under Mel Loves Males, would you?
No, I can't say that I do. Not really into the whole Twitter thing. I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to Twitter, but I appreciate you looking out for me there. If I hear anything, I'll let you know, boss.
Being at the bottom of the league does have a potential huge benefit, the 1.1 pick. And going into next year's draft, you have 4 picks in the first round. Not only that, you have a chance, owning the Rams first rounder, to pull off what the Seahawks pulled off last year and wind up with the first 2 picks in the draft. Now you saw what that did for Seattle.
Yeah, a typical Bengals team. We're always winners in the offseason. Really, has a really strong club here in the offseason, which does nothing for me in the regular season. We're sitting nice with 4 first-round picks. I don't think we're going to wind up with the 1.1 unless something changes. The Seahawks pick looks like it's going to be a mid-rounder. The Rams pick should be decent. Of course, Baltimore is going to be up in the upper 20s, if not 31 or 32. I have some things in mind. I don't want to give too much away about what I'm trying to do, but I did move some of the players last offseason, with Fred Mount's retirement in mind, and I want to, hit the ground running and see if we can just jump onto another quarterback here. But obviously, the stud quarterback doesn't seem to help the Bengals these days, so not sure what we're gonna do.
With no major moves this last offseason, and only about $6 million in cap space for next year as of now, do you feel pretty pinned to revamping the roster through the draft? Or are you possibly looking into some wheeling and dealing of those first rounders?
Yeah, cap space is always a huge headache for me, especially in the NAFL. We're sitting at $6 million. I'm sure I can make more. It seems every offseason I have to make miracles. Not sure what angle we're going to take. I think I'd like to take a little bit more time this offseason. In fact, I'll probably even take a day off so I can just sit in front of the comp and see what I can do with these first-round picks. I definitely want to bring some talent in and just improve this team any way I can.
Okay, Mel. So your visit here is sponsored by your new line of alternative lifestyle pleasure enhancers. Now, we hear that you've sent your division rivals a demo of your newest product, the ANAL 2000. Could you explain to us how this works exactly?
Certainly. I want to thank you for bringing that up. The ANAL 2000 is actually patent pending. I did send a prototype to each of my division rivals. Unfortunately, they all sent them back except for Zulo. Zulo is dying to try it out. He wants me present for it. He's a little intimidated by the gears and the knobs and whatnot, and I can understand that. But Zulo's got a tendency of leaving you with a rusty nail, if you know what I mean. But I'm still in touch with him, and we're going to see what we can work out. Maybe he'll take a day off, maybe his girl will be at work, and we can figure something out. But patent pending, looking to push it out. It's probably the best product the Bengals have put out there since we won a division title in 2026.
All right, Mel. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on your show, certainly, and best of luck to Bisbal, and looking forward to the game.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Mel. For a look into how the Bears are preparing, we now go to Not Buff, who is with the Bears frontman. Not Buff?
Thanks, Not Boss Man. I'm here live with Bisbo, GM of the Chicago Bears. How you doing, Bisbo? Damn.
Hey, Not Buff, doing great. Great to be here.
First things first. You're in first place with a 3-game lead over the Packers. Regardless of how this season is going, compared to last season's, you've got to feel pretty good about having this division all but locked up.
I'll tell you, Not Buff, we don't have it locked up yet, and we're really, really struggling this year. But fortunately, with the Lions and the Vikings rebuilding and with Green Bay struggling to integrate Frankie Giles into their offense, the ogre season looks like it will be enough to claim the title again, so I'm happy about that.
All right, but don't think I'm going to let you off the hook that easy. You were a dominating 13-3 last season and Super Bowl champs. Now, 7-5 with one of the worst defenses in the league. What happened?
Well, first of all, thanks for pointing out that we have one of the worst defenses in the league, Not Buff. But let me tell you what happened. Last year, our defensive coordinator implemented a bend but don't break defense, and that worked fine for us. This year, he decided he was going to tweak it a little bit, and he made it a bend and break defense, and that just has not been working out so good. So we gotta get that fixed. The other thing is, when you're the Super Bowl champs, you got a target on your back. Everybody gets up to your games, and folks have had a year to try and figure out stopping Wyatt and Jet, and people are getting better at doing that. So I think that explains a lot of it.
With a win over the Bengals, the division is all but locked up. With 3 games left to go, do you start sitting players or cutting key guys' playing time altogether in preparation for the playoffs?
Well, we've certainly had our problems with injuries this year, and we got a bunch of guys that are dinged up. So if we do clinch, we're going to try and rest some of those guys and probably sit out some of our top starters. But I really hope to use those last couple of games to try to come up with some new tweaks to the defense in the hope that we'll get it ready to up its game for the playoffs.
One more thing, Bisbo, and be honest. Did my ass look big in those shorts?
That's your ass, not Buff? I mean, looking at it from behind, I thought it was Hillary Clinton.
Thanks for being on the show, Bisbo.
My pleasure as always, and I hope our team is good enough next year that we'll be invited back.
Thanks, Not Buff. This brings us to our favorite part of the show, Not Boss Man's Monday Night Movie Picks. This week, we feature a documentary featuring one of our own. Here's a clip from Will It Hurt? The Mel Kiper story. Let's take a look.
When I got home, my mom didn't ask what I'd been doing. I didn't even have to lie.
Wow. The things Mel went through to get where he is today. Fascinating. Well, that's all the time we have. A special thanks to Mel and Bisbo for being on the show. For Not Buff, it's Not Boss Man, sending this one out to Mel Kiper. Stay strong, man. Stay strong.
What in the butt? I said what in the butt? I said what in the butt? I said what in the butt? You wanna do it in my butt? In my butt? You wanna do it in my butt? In my butt? You wanna do it in my butt? In my butt? Let's do it in the butt. Okay. I will give you what you need. All I want is your big fat seed. Give it to me, if you please. Give it to me, if you please. All I will give you what you need. All I want is your big fat seed. Give it to me, if you please. Give it to me, if